All right, on today's episode of Locked On Avalanche, like a little bit of everything. We have a beefy show lined up for everybody today. Uh, Lindholm got traded, not to the Avalanche, and for what they pulled in for it, thank God. We have an anonymous poll that The Athletic does every year, which is kind of fun. We'll talk about that. And the All-Star Skills Competition. Who do we think is going to take this thing? And D-Men grades, if we can get to that. So much to do. New episode of Locked On Avalanche coming at you.
You're Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Locked On Avalanche podcast. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chris Maselli. With me, as always, Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. Thank you for tuning in and making it your first listen of the day. Always appreciated. Follow us on our social media outlets. I don't even know if I have time to list them all. So just go and follow wherever you're on social media. We're probably on there. We just have a lot to get to today, and I apologize in advance if we don't get to it all. If we have to cut out the D-Men grades and do them all tomorrow, we're going to try to cut them in half. But if we have to do them all tomorrow, we'll do them all tomorrow. Just with this Lindholm stuff and the All-Star skills competition and the athletic poll, there's a lot to get to. So let's dive right in right now, Mr. Sullivan, if you're ready. We'll start with the Elias Lindholm trade because that just happened pretty recently, before we were recording, an hour or so before we were recording. It went down, and just to summarize, refresh, or whatever it is, the Flames send Lindholm to the Canucks, so they get better there, obviously. And the Flames in return get Andrei Kuzmenko. Hunter, I am sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. I believe it's Joni. I don't know if it's Joni, Yermo, another guy I'm not familiar with, a 2024 first round pick, and a conditional 2024 fourth round pick. So 3 players, 2 of which are prospects, and 2 picks. That is hefty, Mr. Sullivan, for, in all likelihood, a rental. Thoughts on the deal, and then we'll discuss the Avalanche side of things.
Yeah, and this will kind of segue into that point. There are 2 things here. Congratulations, that's off the market. Avalanche fans, we got to focus our attentions to some other fancy, shiny new name out there that we must have for the Avalanche for them to succeed. The other, and I think this is the bigger story around this, deeper we go in closer to the trade deadline, is this what the market's going to look like? Because this is a rental. This is not McDavid. This is not a huge killer name out there. This is, you're talking now, if you're looking at like Avalanche context, like picks and prospects and a player, active NHL player, let's not go crazy. And if this is what it's going to be, I'm curious to see if the next move is actually going to be a forward, or what are they going to do? Because everyone knows backup goalie is a concern. Is that where they address? What's the market look like there? Like, this was a huge shot, not just for the Canucks and the Flames, but the league entirely. Is this what the market's going to be for the trade deadline?
For the big name to come off of the market now, you wonder what they could have got if they held out even more. Like, if that was the haul, and it's not even February, man, like what could they have gotten if they got teams into a bidding war or something like that? And I'm sure there was a little bit of that to begin with, or maybe Calgary just said, that's a really solid deal for us. Let's just take it. And if the Avalanche were involved with this, they dodged a bullet. Because they couldn't afford that. They couldn't afford giving up a current roster player, 2 prospects, of which their prospects pool is pretty limited as it is, and then a first and a fourth in this upcoming draft, which would have left them with no picks until the 5th round.
Yep.
It's too rich for the Avalanche. Way too rich for them. So yeah, you shift your attention. And we did a show a couple weeks ago, Kyle, where I think we titled it as "Don't Expect This." I really was not all in on Lindholm coming here. I really was not. I didn't see it happening. It didn't seem like their type of. I mean, I guess I could say I feel like he's their type of player,
Mm-hmm.
but that the type of deal couldn't see them pulling that off. And you saw it, and you saw what the haul was, and that's just not something the Avalanche, number one, are in a position to do, and number two, don't really do anyway midseason. So I think they were maybe in on it, just testing the waters. And now that it's dropped, yeah, like you said, now they're focusing elsewhere. Where that elsewhere is, I don't know. But it is interesting to see. I don't know if this sets the market because he was the big name. So anybody less than him, which is pretty much everybody else in the trade market, is not going to get that. That's not going to happen. But it is a barometer of where other teams can go off of in bringing in whatever you need to bring in. So.
Yeah, it's concerning, and everybody's going to be looking for the next domino, because if there's any kind of, if the next one is also going to be a haul, expect it to be a quiet trade deadline and enjoy this team and this new Zach Parise.
Yeah, like how you have it now, like what it looks like now. If this is the going rate, everything's just a little bit too rich. I don't think that's going to be the case, but we'll see. We'll see. So it did go down, and we'll just see if the dominoes start falling one by one. So interesting deal all around. We'll see how it all pans out. All right, let's head into this athletic poll, which they do every year. Very fun poll that they do. It's an anonymous players poll. No names. They throw out pretty, serious questions on who's the best in each position, and then a very, very fun one. One in particular, which is hilarious, which obviously we will get to. But I wanted to go through these, kind of get your thoughts on them. We got our subtext people who weighed in on these as well. So why not get to them? Want to do this?
Bring it on.
Let's do this. So they start pretty simple. Who is the best player in the league? We had just yesterday, we did the TSN top 25 players where they put Nathan MacKinnon at the top, and he unseated Connor McDavid. First time that he hasn't been on the top of that list in 7 years. If you want to go listen to that episode, feel free. That's yesterday. For this, and again, this is all players, they have Connor McDavid at number one by a pretty wide margin. 69% for Connor McDavid, 16% for Nathan MacKinnon. Kucherov is 3 at 7% point, 7 point whatever, but whatever. Pretty good distance still between what people think of Connor McDavid and everybody else in the league.
That's understandable, and it feels like, and I think this goes back to, this is the players. So if you're playing against Edmonton, it feels like Connor McDavid is the Oilers, and when you play the Avalanche, it's Nathan MacKinnon and his super friends. So it feels like a little bit less of an attack. Like Connor McDavid feels like the entire Oilers, and it could be Mikko, it could be Kale, it could be, you never know who's going to, you're not wanting to face up against when you play Colorado.
Yeah. I think it was from last year. He's closed the gap a little bit, Nathan MacKinnon, but obviously that is still a very, very wide margin. Best goalie in the league, Vasilevsky still takes that. And that's an interesting, I like that probably a lot of these players are not just going off of how things are going this year, because Vasilevsky obviously missed a lot of time at the beginning of the season. So they're not basing it on, well, he hasn't played so much, so we're not going to put him at the top. It's pretty much like, no, like when Vasilevsky is healthy and he's in there, he's the best goalie in the league. So he got 44% of the vote. Connor Hellebuck got 15. Thatcher Demko and Ilya Sorokin tied at just over 7.5%. And Igor Shesterkin is at 6.5%. And that one's a little bit interesting to me because I feel like he's dropping a little bit in rankings and just at what people think of him, because he just came on like a banshee that one year. And not that he's been bad, but I think he's come back down to earth a little bit. And you see that in a lot of rankings and stuff like this.
Yeah, and I'm for one, I'm glad to see my boy Thatcher Demko get third. I've big fan of his play, so that's awesome. But yeah, I completely agree with you. Like Shesterkin to be 5th, it's telling, and you want to see him, like, he could be better. But I mean, when 1 and 2 is Hellebuck and Vasilevsky, it's hard to compete. Like everybody knows, it's the McDavid effect.
Yeah, they are the best in the league, and I don't really think that's debatable. So it doesn't surprise me that those two are up there. I thought maybe that percentage would be a little bit closer too between the two of them. That's my only surprise. But what's that?
Who didn't get a vote?
Didn't get anything.
Uh,
Nothing.
That would be Alexander Georgiev, not one single vote. Okay,
He got nothing. He got
just
nothing.
want to make sure.
All right. All right. Let's get our first break in here, and then we have many more to do with this athletic poll. And then we'll talk about the All-Star Skills competition as well, because they announced the players and what competitions they're going to be taking part in. So we'll have our take on that. All that coming up next. Let's hear from FanDuel and the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Happy Super Bowl season to all of those who celebrate, which is like 150 million of you in just this country. From FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And if you're like Kyle and myself, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seats on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snack, and placing some super bets. And FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a W, or maybe 2 or even 3 W's. And not only can you bet on who will win the Super Bowl, which is Super Bowl 58, but FanDuel also has bets for which players will score touchdowns, how many points will be scored, so much more. Prop bet heaven, as we like to say in the sports world. So new customers, if you join today, you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Just visit fanduel.com/locked-on to sign up. That's fanduel.com/locked-on. Make every moment more with FanDuel. It's an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, let's dive back into this Athletic Anonymous poll. And we'll right back in with one that definitely a lot of people have some feelings on with this one. Who is the most underrated player in the league? Oddly enough, #1 on this was other. I don't know what number other wears, but he's got the most percentage here at 22%. So if we're going off of names, specific names, Alexander Barkov is #1 here at 12.5%. Sam Reinhart at just under 6%. Braden Point 4.76, and Mikko Rantanen at just over 4.4% is technically, if we're just, like I said, just going off of specific players and not all these other players lumped together, Mikko is 4th. You okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I would honestly bump him up to 2 because Nathan McKinnon gets all the shine and nobody ever talks about Mikko nationally. And I'm glad to see him get some underrated props from the players.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Barkov being #1. He really does not get as much credit as he really should. He's incredible. A couple other names on here that I like to see. My boy Matthias Michelli is on there. How about that? 1.79% for Matthias Michelli. Absolutely love seeing him on there. And then I mentioned the other day when we were doing who we want to play on Team McKinnon, I said Clayton Keller, because I just love that guy. And he's on here too. He's at like just over 1%. So he maybe got a vote or two. But good to see.
Don't worry. You got your shine that your boy's on that list. My boy's coming up.
Is that on the most overrated? Is that the one?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Most overrated player in the league. Once again, other takes the top spot with just under 27%. But again, when we're going to players specifically, Trevor Zegras at the top here, 12.8%. Darnell Nurse, just under 8%. Matthew Tkachuk, just under 7%. Jason Robertson is the same as Tkachuk. Jonathan Huberdeau, just about 6%. Alexander Ovechkin's on here, and I don't know why, but he's at just around 5%. And then it goes from there. No Avalanche at all on here that I can see. Here's the like other votes, which I'll go through, but I don't think there's any on there. Yeah, are you okay? Are you gonna be able to sleep tonight? Actually, Mikko Rantanen is on here, believe it or not. In the other receiving votes, he is on there. He's not, but it's less than like 1%. So
that was probably Jordan Bennington, but I'll be all right. I could cope.
They do give quotes. I'm not getting into too much of them, but there's one that says a lot of hype around him in terms of some cool goals and plays that he's made. I feel like that doesn't translate to an everyday player. So that's pretty good. Nothing against the guy. I just think he got hyped a lot instead of the play consistently night in, night out on the ice. So
look at his stat line. They're not wrong.
Yeah. It is weird to go from, the cover of NHL to trade rumors.
That's the EA curse.
Well, we'll see what happens with him. Next one. Who's the player? I love this one. Who is the player in the league whose face you want to punch? Nick Cousins, overwhelmingly 28.5%. And then you got Brad Marchand, who's usually number one on this at 15%. Matthew Tkachuk, 7.5%. His brother is on there. Brady's on there at 3.5%. Kadri is on there at just over 2%. Zegras is on here just over 1%. Same with Tom Wilson. Nikita Zadorov is on there at 1%. What's your take on this? Who do you want to punch?
Who do I want to punch? It'd be Marchand, but then I'd hug him right after.
Yeah,
he's always annoying, but it's shocking to me to see Zegras with Tom Wilson, Evander Kane, all with the same level of just vitriol from the players. Yeah. That just is shocking to me.
How is Jamie Benn not on here? Is he on other receiving votes? Let me,
because this isn't 2016. Everybody else has forgot him.
Oh my God. Like he's annoying. and if any Dallas Star fans are listening, like, he is. I know that you're going to defend the guy, but you have to know he's annoying. If he's one of those guys, he's not on your team, you cannot stand him. And if he's playing on your team, you love him to death. So being Avalanche fans and playing against that guy, he's annoying. Yeah, he's so annoying. So does he have a punchable face, I guess, for this? Sure, why not? I don't know. They do have ones about refs. Who's the best ref in the game? Who's the worst ref in the game? I don't really care. So we're going to completely skip that one and go right to what's the best jersey in the league aside from your own team. The original 6 fill out the first 6 here. So the Blackhawks, then Detroit, then the Rangers, and the Maple Leafs, and the Canadiens, and then the Bruins. Let's throw those away because original 6 just always gets the top billing when it comes to jerseys and sales and all that stuff. Throw those out the window. Your next 5 go Seattle Kraken, Arizona Coyotes, San Jose Sharks, Los Angeles Kings, and number 5, Colorado Avalanche.
It's the perfect list. And you froze, but I'm telling you, if you're listing your non-traditional original 6 hockey jerseys, it is absolutely that top 5. You can't do it without Seattle at the top.
I don't have a problem with Seattle at the top. I think that they knocked it out of the park after the dud that was laid by Vegas and their colors and their nickname and just Vegas, redeemed Vegas, or excuse me, Seattle redeemed Vegas in some form. But I just love that Colorado's on here. Yeah. I think the Colorado color scheme is one of the best in the league. The logo is a solid logo, and they haven't changed it so much. They haven't changed it at all. But they're not one of those newer teams that just changes it all the time just for sales. I think they see the value in keeping a logo the way it is and not having to change it every couple of years. So I love that. So even if you want to include the original 6, So you got 6, 7, 8, 9. So they're 11. Yeah, they're 11. I'm okay with it.
The only thing to change on the logo was that shade of red. It went from like red to burgundy, like an 03, 04.
They did change the shade a little bit, and then they got rid of the Yeti foot. So there have been minor like adjustments here and there, and they have changed the look. I mean, you have that disgusting piping that they had that for that one time. They've changed things, but the logo, when you see Colorado Avalanche, that logo has not changed, and I think there's value to that. How many more we got? Okay, I think these are the last couple here. Favorite road city and least favorite road city. Favorite road city to play. Yeah, that's how it is. Favorite road city to play, and we'll do that one first. Vegas takes the top spot here. I'm kind of not surprised about that. And New York is very close to that. So Vegas at just over 25%, and New York right around 23%. Montreal, then Nashville, then Vancouver, then Sunrise, where the Florida Panthers play, and then Los Angeles. It doesn't surprise me. Vegas is Vegas. Doesn't surprise me.
And I assume they're talking about Madison Square Garden.
Yes. Well, they are, because when you go to the least favorite to play in, Elmont is in which that's where the Islanders play. That's at 1%. But overwhelmingly, the least favorite is Winnipeg at over 41%. And number 2 is Ottawa at almost 12%. And then Buffalo. So the top 3 there are northern, cold, gray cities where not a lot of people want to play. And a lot of the comments for Winnipeg were there's just nothing to do there. It's always cold, it's always gray, and there's nothing around that arena, which I feel bad for the people of Winnipeg.
And we complain about Arizona games every time Colorado goes to Arizona. They get like 1% of a least favorite place to play. So that should tell you that at least Arizona's fun to be in.
So that's all of them. I want to get to the subtext people because they threw out their what they think on all of these. So we'll fly through those, and then we'll get to the All-Star skills competition. I do not think we're going to be getting to the D-men today. We'll save that for tomorrow and the goalies. So we'll take a quick little break, and then we'll get back with the subtext people right after this. All right, let me bring them up here. We'll just go through these quickly. Amy K, she says, where is it here? I agree. So this will be fun. She goes, best player, McKinnon, best goalie, Hellebuck, most underrated player. She's got Miles Wood on there, and punchable face, Jordan Binnington, which I completely agree with her there. And Binnington was not on. He might have been other receiving votes, which I didn't really look too much on. But yeah, being an Avalanche fan, he's right up there with Jamie Benn for me.
Yeah, they probably assumed he was already in the AHL by now.
Yeah. This is Vargar. He's got best player, Makar. He's got him as best player. Best goalie, Hellebuck. Most underrated, Mikko, Heiskanen, and Jacob Slavin. For his, he put 3 there. Most overrated player, Connor Bedard. And I don't think that's I think I know where he's going with that. I don't think he feels like Bedard is a bad player. I mean, he's just coming into the league, but I think it's the hype.
Yep.
I think it's the hype. I think it's the coverage. It's, people are expecting him to, maybe not expecting him, but thinking like, oh, he could be Wayne Gretzky on day one. So I get where he's going with that. Player you'd most like to punch in the face, Austin Matthews.
Oh,
I don't get the hate. I don't have a problem with Austin Matthews, and maybe that's sacrilege saying that. I don't. I do get it. He's gonna be one of the greatest American players like ever, but he's just unlikable for some reason by a lot of fans.
I'm right there. I'm not a big Austin Matthews guy.
Yeah. Favorite jersey, not our own. He said the black alternate Sabres with the white buffalo head, which I know you like that one.
It's hanging on my wall.
Least favorite road city to play in, and obviously none of us play. but he doesn't like St. Louis and he doesn't like Vegas. His favorite, he would like to go to Edmonton. And I know he lives in right on New York City, so he likes MSG as well. So
Nothing wrong with the Rock either.
no, that's a nice arena.
It is
really nice arena. And then Madam Battle Axe, best player Mikko Rantanen, best goalie Igor Shesterkin, most underrated Devon Taves.
Love.
I give thumbs up to that one.
Love this.
Give thumbs up to that one. Most overrated. She also puts Connor Bedard in there. Punchable face, Jordan Binnington and Brad Marchand. And then she says, please, 5 minutes alone, no cameras.
Good Pantera song.
That is fantastic. Favorite jersey is Seattle. And she would hate to play in St. Louis, but she loves Philadelphia because she's a sucker for cheese steaks and cheese cakes. So there you go.
Yeah, I need
Good
to
stuff.
do a game. I need to do a game in Philadelphia.
I wouldn't mind it. I think it's when that arena's a rocking.
Yeah,
when that arena is a rocking. Like right now, maybe. I mean, they're doing okay, but I don't know that Avalanche game that was there didn't really seem like people were all that into it. It seemed like a pretty quiet arena.
Good. We could converse with all the Flyers fans.
Yeah,
that's not cheering.
Yeah. All right, let's get to this All-Star skills competition, and because they announced who the different competitions and who's going to be in each one of them. I had thought originally it was like 8 competitions, and all 12 guys that are taking part in it are taking part in every competition, but that does not seem to be the case. They're starting with 6 skills competitions, and all of the guys are taking part in 4 of them. And then whoever has the most points after those 6 are done goes on to the 7th round. And then there is a shootout. That's where Alexander Georgiev will be in the mix. And then whoever wins that goes to the 8th round. I think it goes from 12 to 8 in the 7th round. And then what's the last round here? 6.
Yep.
So the last 6 is an obstacle course. And then that decides the winner. Whoever has the most points wins the entire thing and $1 million. So these guys are going to be going for it. This is not just like most of the All-Star skills competitions in the past have just been these fun, goofy, no real competition at all. Nothing to really play for. You got $1 million on the line. These guys are going to be, I think this is going to be fun. I really do.
$1 million.
Hey,
we're making an event out of this. Me and my little family, we're watching this skills competition like wire to wire. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's traditional. There's not the events that are listed. There's no hitting a puck into a lake, or they're not hitting cards, and they're not playing golf.
Yeah,
it's traditional, old school skills competitions. So it's going to be fun just to see the game be played in those disciplines, and the prize is also fun. And you've heard the rumor about Cale giving his $1 million away to the defensive pairings.
He kind of shot that down, though. He was like, that's not how money works.
but like those conversations are had, and it's always interesting to see what they do with the $1 million, because not a lot of them keep it. They usually donate. It's always fun. So we'll see how it goes.
Let's go through these and just kind of throw out a pick on who we think. So the fastest skater, you got McDavid, Nylander, Quinn Hughes, Makar is in it, and Matthew Barzal's in it from the Islanders. Kind of regular names with the exception of Hughes. I don't think Hughes has been in this before. McDavid has obviously won it. Barzal from the Islanders has won it. Who do you like in here?
I'm going to go Barzal because I don't know if Cale could keep his wheels. Last time he was in this,
he biffed. He
blew his tire.
Yeah.
So.
McDavid is just so fast, but it's different when you're doing this thing. But I like Nylander too. For some reason, I just feel like Nylander is going to sneak in there and possibly win this thing. The one-timers competition, that's Pettersson. Nathan McKinnon is in on that. Draisaitl's in it. Kucherov, JT Miller, Austin Matthews, Barzal's in that one as well, and David Pastrnak. So I don't know how the point system is going to work for that. If it's like a target thing, but there is accuracy shooting. So however they bring this thing out as far as scoring, what do you like? Who do you like here?
Nathan McKinnon, 1,000%.
Yeah, I mean, he's good at them. He's great at one time. Although I do like David Pastrnak in this one as well. The passing challenge, it's pretty much, I think everybody except for one. The list: McKinnon, Nylander, Makar, Barzal, Miller, Kucherov, Hughes, McDavid, Pettersson, Matthews, Draisaitl. So maybe there's one person in there I didn't name. So again, I don't know how they're going to score that, but who's your favorite passer in all those?
I'm going to have to go Cale Makar on that one, just because I'm going to be rooting for my Colorado Avalanche in those. And after the not getting fastest skater, Cale's got to win something.
Yeah. I think this could be the tough, not that they're bad at passing, but McDavid's an excellent passer. Kucherov is a really good passer.
Yeah.
So if the bread man was in this, if Panarin was in this, he'd be my pick, hands down.
Yep, 1,000%.
Hands down. Hardest shot, you got Austin Matthews. Cale Makar is in this. David Pastrnak, JT Miller, and Elias Pettersson is in this one. What do you think for that?
Pasta.
Pettersson has a rifle. I don't know Pasternak's slap shot if it's like, in terms of velocity, but I know Pettersson's this is his to lose, if you ask me. He could be upset. You never know. Stick handling, again, almost all of them are in that one. Who do you like for stick handling competition and whatever that may entail?
You know what? I think that will be an Austin Matthews.
Is he in this? Let me see. I should have listed them because he's not in this. He's the one that's not in it. So, which is odd. It's just odd because he's very good. Wow, he's not in it.
And he's made a career off of just like highlighting his stick handling skills. So in Toronto, let's not give him stick handling. That makes sense.
Okay. All right.
And that'd be one of those that it's just nobody. And at that time, the points don't matter. So,
and then the last one is the accuracy shot. And again, you have most everybody save for somebody. I'm going through the names here. It just looks like everybody's on that. I like Pastrnak in that one too. Or McDavid was unbelievable in that last year.
Yeah.
But he lost because he just took his time. And I think it was Kadri who beat him by time. But yeah, McDavid didn't miss one target. So you think he's the favorite, but I like Pastrnak in this one too. Overall, though, who do you think could take this whole thing? You think it's one of the Avs or somebody else?
No, I feel like Nathan McKinnon. And I feel like Kucherov might steal a couple of those, and it'll be a Nathan McKinnon Kucherov thing and continue the Hart conversation through the All-Star skills competition.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see those two guys be. It's not like a last. Well, I mean, it could be a last two in doing that obstacle course, and it's just down to them two based on time or whatever. You would love to see that.
Yep.
So we'll see how it all plays out. But I think it'll be fun. Fun. They needed a change. It'll be better than the game. I can guarantee you that. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. So we'll see how it all plays out. Yeah, we're going to get to the D-men tomorrow. We'll do defensemen and goalies for Friday, and we'll wrap up all the midseason grades and then get ready for the Rangers. Or I guess we could get ready for the All-Star game too, but what is it really to get ready for?
Fun. The spectacle of sport.
It is a low bar for this All-Star game. All right. That's going to wrap it up, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, making it your first listen of the day. Always appreciated. He is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. I am Chris Maselli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. We'll see you guys tomorrow.